here we go. Let's get 5 dynamic abdominal core exercises. That's 5 of them today. Watch to the end. I got a bonus on the end too. This is a totally unique way. The last one is a really, really solid torso worker, abdominal strainer. It's awesome. So there's 4 major ones and there's a 5th one. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, you're going to work your abdominals, your obliques. It's going to work everything. So yeah, I'm pumped. Let's rock it. Exercise number 1 is going to be hip switches. Now there's 3 things that you want to pay attention to on this, and I'm going to talk about these throughout the entire videos, so this is the very first time I talk about it. Dorsiflexion, make sure you're here, here with your feet at all times. Never want to come out with your toes. I'll explain more as we continue on. Number 2 is when we do this exercise, you want to come flush on the side of your hips. Flush on the side of your hips. The second way to do this exercise is on a bench. I'm going to show you. That's the 3rd exercise. When you do that, it's a lot harder to stay on the bench, so it's more dynamic. That's why we're doing this one first. The third thing you want to pay attention to is you want to switch. You actually really want to get some power in that switch. So that bottom leg, you want to kick it as fast as possible. Kick that out. And when you kick that bottom leg, you'll see when I do it is you want to make sure you kick with the heel. You're not kicking with the foot. You don't want to kick like this because that's going to throw your body forward. That's going to jack up your back like a mofo, right? So you got to stay here with dorsiflexion here and then kick with your heel. So it looks like this. Dorsiflexion here. Now it's a scissor, right? But you're just scissoring. It's really simple, but it's actually not because most people do this wrong. You want to use your glutes to pull. So when I take that left, when I'm going to kick over in a second, right? I'm going to flip my body and I'm going to kick with this left leg, and I'm going to kick with my glutes and my hand, my whole posterior chain. You'll see here. So here, there.
Lăn qua. Rồi, sáng là nhõng nhẽo vậy đó hả?
Back over. Power. See that power? Now when I come out, see my toes are both in dorsiflexion still? I don't want to come out here. That's going to throw my body forward. What that does is that puts a lot of bad pressure on your back. All of that fascia back there, that just takes a lot of bad pressure, especially if you're driving and kicking, right? This is a really good jiu-jitsu move in terms of training. When I taught jiu-jitsu, I taught for 5 years, and I taught all my students this because it is so effective in jiu-jitsu because you want to have that, right, that switch ability. So, dorsiflexion. So I'm going to do about 10 of these here. So you don't notice I'm flat on my, right, flush on my hip, right? That's what you want to do. And when I switch over, I want to go flush on this hip as well. So yeah, there you go. These are amazing for obliques and abdominals. You should also feel it in your I feel it in my hamstrings right now, actually, because of the pull. So hamstrings and glutes as well. So hope that helps. Boom. All right, exercise number 2 is hip switches on the bench, okay? We did hip switches on the floor a second ago. This is on the bench. Now again, this is a jiu-jitsu move primarily, but you do these, I promise you're going to work everything in here. You're working on, prime mover is going to be your abdominals. Secondary, actually prime mover is going to be just as much, is going to be your obliques as well. So this is I've got a video on dumb exercises. You can watch that one because I talked about how the side bends, how stupid they are. Don't do side bends, do this instead. I promise you if you do this. Now the rep range, you're going to get some seriously toned work in the whole section here, that entire area. Now the goal is to get around 15 to 20 reps. I'll probably do 10 to 20 or whatever to give you an example of what it looks like. But yeah, this is a phenomenal oblique and abdominal exerciser, right? Or exercise. So here we go. But now the key is, as before, you want to go flush on the side of the hips, right? Flush on the side of hips. Now, you want to, again, this is a jiu-jitsu move primarily, but it works for all dynamic core abdominal work. Now, when you come up here, you want to have a scissor kick. Always keep your toes curled, right? You never want to have our toes out. What that does, if we have our toes out, see I'm starting to fall over on the bench, keep your toes curled. You anteriorly translate the body, meaning you go forward every time you point those toes forward. So this is called dorsiflexion here. Boom, right here. See that? You want to keep that the entire exercise on both feet. So here, boom, flush on the hips. Now, you got to find a comfortable spot on the bench. Find a comfortable spot here, and you're going to come up. Now, the key is not to raise all the way up. You try to stay as low as you can and switch as quick as you can. So here. Now, if you notice too, I'm kicking as I come over. Kick with that back foot, the bottom foot. So my right, when I come over, I'm going to kick with my right. Kick with the heel. So kick here. See that? Kick with the left. kick with the right, kick with the left, and you might fall off like I just did. So you gotta be really careful. It's hard to do it when I'm going real slow. Like here. And I can totally feel that all inside here. Again, the key is to stay flush as much as you can on the hip here on both sides. So flip over on the hip. You don't want to come too shallow, meaning you don't want to come here. This isn't going to better. This is too easy. You need to come all the way over. There. So you turn that body. This is where the oblique work comes in here. And switch. There. And that is hip switches on a bench. Exercise number 3 is hip shoots. Now, same thing we want to pay attention to is you want to make sure you stay in dorsiflexion here. Now, you're working your abdominals, but you're also going to work that posterior chain of your lower torso, right? You're going to work your glutes and your hamstrings, but primarily your glutes. You want to squeeze your glutes on the way up. When you come all the way up, squeeze your glutes, okay? And yeah, just shoot straight up. Now, when you come down, you can come down and you can bring your legs down. There's a couple different ways you can do it, but the key is to make sure you keep constant, continuous tension on the muscle. Every video I make, I always talk about this, right, that infinity symbol. You want constant, continuous tension on the muscle at all times, right? So you don't want to break tension. You might as well just rest and start another exercise or start another exercise if you rested. So watch here is when I'm coming down, I don't just let my body rest. When I come down, I keep tension in my abdominals, and I'm using my hamstrings and my glutes to lower my body and stay strong and stable and engaged, right? So here it is. Hip shoots, you can go here with your hands, or you can go here, whatever. I'm gonna put my hands here underneath. So it just goes up. See, I'm engaged. See right here, my abs are still engaged as I come down. Now they're not engaged, so that's just letting them rest. But you want to make sure when you come down, you keep them. You see my abs are engaged now. That's why I'm having a little trouble talking, because I'm keeping my engaged, and I'm shaking a little bit too because my abdominals are engaged. That's what you want. So when you come down, you want to make sure you keep your abdominals engaged. 1. Kick up with the heels, toes curled. This is hard. 6. See, I put my hands here with the elbows. You can go here, whatever you want. You can also get dumbbells. You can place dumbbells here and hold just like this. This is an option as well. This will help. And that is hip shoots. Totally awesome for abdominals, for your glutes, but primarily your abdominals. And remember, keep your toes curled and push up with your heels as you do this. Hope that helps. Awesome. All right, exercise number 4 is hip shoots. Now the key is on this, the main thing is to make sure you maintain dorsiflexion, all right? We've talked about this in all these exercises. Dorsiflexion here, and when you kick up, you'll see in a second, you want to drive with your heel. You don't want to drive with your toe. If you go up with your toe, your body's going to shoot forward. What that does is it disengages your whole posterior chain. The key with torso work is you want to engage your posterior chain. Everybody that does abdominals only works on the front part of the body. Now I know you're thinking, wait, my abs are what I want to work. Yes, you do, but you also want to work your low back. That's the number one reason why people have low back pain when they do exercises, is because they don't know how to engage that posterior chain. And anytime they're doing a deadlift, a squat or anything, that posterior chain, their glutes, specifically in their low back area, have no neural understanding of how to stabilize the work that's being done. So anyway, so the key is to make sure you stay, number one point is push up, dorsiflexion, and push on the heels and drive straight up. Now also when you come up, you want to make sure you control that ascent, and when you come down, you want to control the descent. Meaning you just don't want to flip, right? Flap. You don't want to boom, boom, back like that. That stuff sucks. Do not do that. Looks like a dolphin. Like blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It just looks bad. So we don't want to do that. Now, this will get your heart rate up. Goal, 10 to 20. You can do 30 of them if you can. That's great. And 3 or 4 sets of each one of these, and you're golden. So here on the bench, well, starting positions here, right? Dorsiflexion here, and then I'm gonna come straight up. 1. I'm gonna put my microphone so I can talk and you can hear. Up. See, how tall I am and how high I am, and I'm maintaining my heels, right? See that? Come down, up, heel. Not toes. So if I do my toes, my body is going to fall forward. It's going to drive forward. It's going to end the exercise. So you want to make sure you stay on those heels. Engage the glutes, your hamstrings, and of course you're going to be working your abdominals on this too. But you want that low back to be working with your abdominals in concert, synergistically with your abdominals. So here again. Now you can lower the legs too to make it a little bit harder. But when you do it, don't just lower the legs and let your body rest here. If you're going to do that, come here. Meaning, keep your core engaged. The whole, see, my core's engaged. Now my core's disengaged, right? And that is hip shoots on a bench. And if you are not feeling that in your glutes, when you're doing that, you're not stabilizing correctly. So you're obviously going to feel it in your abdominals, but your glutes should be, you should feel it there as well. So that's a really big point there. Make sure your glutes are active and stabilizing that torso as you push up, and stay on those heels. Push on those heels. All right, please. Exercise number 5, this is the bonus one, okay? The reason this is a bonus is because this is done incorrectly all of the time. If this is done correctly, you're going to feel your glutes big time. As of course you're going to feel your abdominals. But now the goal with every single abdominal lift is to make sure basically that you don't hit this, your iliopsoas here. You're not working this as a prime mover. You want to focus on your abdominals, right? You don't want to work here, right? You want to work your abdominals, and on this exercise you want to make sure you're stabilizing and utilizing with your glutes. Now you'll see when I come down, I'm going to pull. You want to pull with your glutes and your hamstrings down, right? That's boom, down. Come up with your abdominals, not your iliopsoas. Again, we don't want these muscles here that connect right into, actually they're right inside here. We don't want to work these as the prime movers. We want to work the abdominals and the glutes. It's a leg raise. It's a straight leg raise, but it's very, very technical. Done correctly. Also, you want to make sure, as with everything in this video, we want to make sure we stay in dorsiflexion the entire time. Don't let your feet come forward. That's going to throw you forward, and that's going to put a ton of bad pressure on your back. Man, when you're watching this, leave me a comment or something, because I'd love to know how much this helps you, because every time I work with my clients, they've instinctively done this for years. They'll do a leg raise or they'll do any sort of exercise like this, and they have low back pain when they do these, and that's why they don't do them. So you've got to make sure you stay in that dorsiflexion here. Now, legs, you don't want to lock, but you want to keep almost locked. You don't want to bend them, right? But never lock a joint, right? We don't ever put that tension on the joint. So, straight leg, stiff leg raises, whatever, but again, not locking. Here. Now I'm going to pull up. See, I want to come up. I come down, pull with my abs, glutes. Abs, glutes, and hamstrings. Abs, glutes. I don't know if you can hear me. There you go. Now you fire up. There. And then as soon as when you fire up, you notice when I'm firing up, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my glutes to stop that pull, that momentum, right? Again, momentum is the enemy with any weight, right? Most resistance training. So you don't want to just throw your legs up and let them kind of fly around. You want to have control of your body. So pull those legs up, you see here, I'm doing, and then stop with your glutes immediately, and then back down, pull. So it's a constant movement, and this will get you. If you're doing more than 20 of these, well, let's say if you're doing more than 25, you're not doing them right, because this is really, really hard. Woo, and that is stiff leg races. All right, there you have it. That was 5 torso, core, abdominal exercises, right? Now the key on these is to make sure, as I talked about through all the exercises, you're going to feel in your abdominals and your obliques. Almost every one of these are going to be for sure abdominals, and half of them are obliques as well. Stop doing the side bends with the dumbbells. Those are dumb exercises. Do these instead, okay? Now another thing, the key point on all these is to make sure you get your glutes and your posterior lower chain active and involved in these exercises. If you're not feeling that, then that means your low back is taking a lot of bad pressure, and we don't want that, right? So these exercises will help stabilize, strengthen, and ultimately heal low back pain, okay? I'm not a doctor or a medical professional, so I'm not giving you medical advice, but I've worked with clients for 20 plus years, and every one of them has come to me with a low back pain. I get them doing these after their body's stable enough to do them because it works this area, your glutes, so much. All right, so I've got some more. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Love you. Subscribe here. Please hit subscribe. It'd be awesome to have you on the team. I also have another video right here that you're going to watch. It's going to be if you want to watch abdominals. Then I got a whole playlist of exercises that you can watch down in the corner, my left, your right corner, and the exercises, abdominals are going to be at the upper right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Peace.